7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the Nines presented by AT&T. We've got big news to break on this show today. If you were looking for comedians in cars getting coffee, sorry, wrong platform. We're just dudes on the couch talking esports. I'm one of your hosts, Frodan.
And I'm Jump, another guy on the couch talking esports. We've got 9 segments lined up for you, and we're going to be watching them all with you live. So let us know what you think in chat, but only the good stuff. Please, Frodan has a really fragile ego.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a fragile ego. I'm the third Musketeer.
You're the third Monty?
I'm actually the second Monte Cristo in terms of, fiction, historical accuracy, right?
Yeah.
First one was Dumas. Also, Musketeers, Dumas restaurants. That's pretty cool. You might recognize me from my work as an analyst for the Overwatch League, or as a failed team owner, or my podcast with Thorin. But
all of the above.
All of the above. If you didn't know, now you know. Where can our viewers find you guys these days?
I'm over on the Hearthstone Grandmasters section of the Burbank Arena, or also in Twitter DMs where everyone's hitting me up to get that TFT Rivals invite. Oh, Frodan, we're such good friends. Blah, blah, blah. Help me get on the Twitch Rivals. I can't help you with it. Sorry.
Yeah, and I do a little bit of everything in the space, do a lot of variety hosting, but lately it's all about Apex Legends and anything and everything that has to do with Respawn's hit new Battle Royale.
All right, on today's show, CEO of Cloud9, Jack Etienne, was here in the studio. Long have you waited, C9 activated, will be the unveiling of the new Cloud9 Counter-Strike Global Offensive roster. That's right, a new C9 CSGO team has been assembled, and Jack will be here to give us all the details on the roster moves.
And afterwards, we'll have James Bardolph on to get his take on the shakeup. Also on the show, in Click Debate, Monty and I are arguing about Twitch's move to allow subscriber-only streams. Frodan wasn't actually able to participate.
I'm not allowed to participate, but all that and more is coming up. For first, let's head over to Channel 9 News. So take it away, Frodan the Gas.
9.
Welcome to Channel 9 News. Now, normally we don't break stories, we just give you our expert opinions on the news. But later today will be breaking news with Cloud9 CEO Jack Etienne, so stick around. In the meantime, last week, the Seoul Dynasty announced that their main tank, Fisher, was retiring. And on his way out, Fisher casually leaked that the Overwatch League will be shifting to a 2 DPS, 2 tank, 2 support locked team composition in Stage 4. The GOATS meta has been used all throughout Season 2, where team comps consist of triple tanks and triple supports. In some eyes, the repetitive tactic and stagnant hero pool has caused a decline in viewership. The metagame has long been a favorite subject to complain about. You might remember this from earlier in the year when Jeff Kaplan decided he had to clap back.
GOATS is dead, and now it's just double sniper, and that's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Or, oh, now everybody's just going to play McCree. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, I'm like, what the hell do you people want? Do you just go play Mystery Heroes? Like, if you want random heroes every match, Mystery Heroes is now available for you in the arcade. You're super awesome.
Love me some Jeff Kaplan clap back. Jeff is an OG when it comes to gaming.
I love Jeff Kaplan, and I think he does a very good job of representing Overwatch as a game, and he does a lot of the time have to say what the fans expect of him, but every man has his breaking point. And,
exactly.
I can't confirm or deny any rumors about a 222 lock. What I will say, though, is that it's my personal opinion, and I've expressed this before, that in general, esports do better when there is a level of similarity between the professional game and the casual game. Because many people watch esports in order to get better at the game, which is unlike most people who watch traditional sports, right? Like, I love football, but I'm not watching football because I think I'm ever going to be able to play football. But that's not the case in esports, at least at this juncture in esports' growth. So the problem, I think, with having the GOATS meta is I find it very interesting. I think it's extremely nuanced. It's extremely difficult for teams to pull off. But you never see it at any level of average competition on the ladder.
Right.
So that divorce, I think, is an issue.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that the fantasy of being able to play at that high level is what really is drawing about esports. But I mean, there's also a lot to be questioned about what's happening around the league too. The London Spitfire have dropped 2 games this past weekend. Will the return of the 2-2-2 lineup help London as we head into the final stretch?
I can neither confirm nor deny that there will be a 2-2-2 lock heading into the final parts of the Overwatch League season. But in a theoretical universe where that were to happen, I would say that it would be very beneficial for the London Spitfire because at a fundamental level, teamwork has never been London's strongest suit. What they have been is a team of incredibly skilled individual players, and I think that if it moves back into a meta where they can mechanically outplay people and they can make the hero plays we know they're capable of, that would be very helpful to them to move more towards an individual style meta rather than a wholly team style meta like we see with Ghost.
Yeah, maybe some fans want to see that too, the individual skill levels of these players.
Yeah, and you've got that platform for them to be able to do that. They don't have to sit in the bench and say, okay, well, we've got the GOAT that's here. I can actually play heroes that I'm capable of doing. Well, you know, not only did we have that with Overwatch, but it was a rough weekend for the North American League of Legends teams. They squared off against Europe's best and the now reoccurring Rift rivals. An invite-only showdown between the continent's best 3 teams. For the most part, the LCS was handled, and while Team Liquid had a respectable showing, Cloud9 did not win a single game. Monty, how do you feel about this result?
Don't go to this.
So it's worth noting that not only did C9 not win a single game, they were the only team at the event to not win a single game. But there were a lot of caveats, and I don't think we can read too much into it because Sneaky was ill and unable to play, which forced C9 to run backup players from other positions in that AD carry role or in the marksman role or whatever the hell Riot wants to call it right now. Who knows? But I think that when you're subbing out one of your traditionally strongest players who's been with the org for years and years, and all of a sudden you have to put in Blabber in that position, you're not going to have an amazing result. So considering the circumstances, I mean, Rift Rivals is kind of a meaningless tournament anyway. It's not getting you closer to the World Championship. It's mostly for fun. So
exhibition and bragging rights.
Exactly.
Which is what Europe cares about the most.
Right. And realistically, NA was never going to win over EU because that just doesn't happen. So
it just really doesn't. But at least Cloud9's social media team gets another column, another win in the column, as Genji tweeted out about their results, and Cloud9 decided to quote retweet and say, well, at least we made it out of group stage at the World Tournament. So.
I mean, that's true. They did very well last year. I mean, for a team with 3 rookies last year, making it to the semifinals of Worlds was very impressive. Yeah. All right, we're going to talk about some FGC stuff right now. Moving along. The Fighting Game Championship CEO 2019 took place at the Daytona Beach Ocean Center this past weekend, the same site as wrestling startup AEW Fighter Fest. Over the years, we've seen CEO take a page from professional wrestling, and finally, we saw an all-out takeover between these two. CEO founder Alex Jabali of Jabated fame fought wrestler Nakazawa along with a Street Fighter-themed entrance from Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Brodan, I know you love pro wrestling. What are your thoughts on this crossover event?
It was just fantastic. I mean, just watching the Kenny Omega, just watching Jabali do all the antics, it just felt so flavorful to what is true to the FGC roots. This is why that they fight so much against what esports is gentrification, right, of the entire process. They don't want to be part of it because they want to be able to get away with all this like ridiculous antics with the banter. Because normally some people are like, oh, this is a little bit too violent for a video game. It's like, no, absolutely, they're having fun, and that's part of it, and that's the charm of the FGC.
And you're building personalities as well. I mean, it's something that we've all talked about on multiple broadcasts, and it's something that esports as a whole is trying to push, is to build these stories and to build these interesting narratives about these players. Well, when these players have this platform to be themselves and, you know, have Jabali grabbing Justin Wong's fight stick and slapping it over the head of a professional wrestler, you get those fun, entertaining moments, and it's something that you can invest yourself in.
Also, you get the amazing meme gifs. And yes. I think in general, I hear what you're saying, Frodan, but I think it's not so much esports that is being too tame. I think actually any esports fan would love more of this kind of content, no matter what level they're at. I think it's a failure from people who are coming in from the sports side, who are siding with some of these major broadcasts, who are making esports too tame. I think anybody who is endemic to esports would want more of this in any capacity, in any league, in any esport in the world. I mean, that's how I feel.
Absolutely. I think esports is very star-driven, right? And people compare it to action sports in the past with like Tony Hawk and Shaun White because of how much we follow the personality. I mean, you look at it and you look at teams, a lot of their identity is tied to an individual player. I mean, Faker has almost ascended SK Telecom at this point, and very much so, to the point where we tie the entire team performance based on him. So I think it makes a lot of sense to highlight that with things like this fighting game exhibition that we had turned into a wrestling match.
You also also get to bring in non-endemic fans. I mean, like, the goal of us in esports is to always figure out, okay, how are we going to get someone that doesn't play video games or isn't like a huge FGC fan to watch those broadcasts and to become invested in it. And when they have those personalities that sell the product because they're just selling themselves and they're having fun, that adds an extra value to the piece of content that they're wanting to invest themselves in.
Yeah, I disagree.
Definitely. So that was the bright side to this event. Obviously, super cool. But there was finally there was also a little bit of a darker side to this event as well, where it seemed like there were some conflicts or slurs, lack of security. What do you guys think about this side of the esports experience?
Just very candidly, we're still not even that many months removed from that previous tragedy that we had at the Madden event, and I feel like if you're going to host an event that prides itself on attendance, because that's what fighting games are supposed to do, the whole point is that they drive thousands of young people who are passionate about fighting games to one concentrated area, you need to prioritize security. And I cannot believe that we live in a time where that is such a lax thing. Bill, you're telling me that at PAX West, there was not even any metal detectors when you were there at the event.
No, PAX is something that prioritizes itself in almost 100,000 people as foot traffic that comes into these events. And PAX West didn't go through a single line of security. I had my little exhibitor pass, and it was tied around my belt loop, and it was flipped around the whole time. It was like people were walking in and walking out. E3 is stepping it up, and PAX East kind of made some adjustments from PAX West last year, but it's something that needs to be a priority because this whole thought process of, hey, it's just gamers, like it's not a thing. No, like it's just as a security risk if you're not careful.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. There have been too many incidents, and unfortunately.
That was, so obviously, like we only have like an allotted time to talk about like serious issues like this, but this is something that is a very real issue that I think we need to kind of like pause for a second and really talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of issues in the past. Like, I remember at MSI at League of Legends in Brazil, where like some guy got in the huddle with SKT on stage with Faker, and you just never know if those people are going to be malicious in their actions or potentially violent. And so I think it really is such a huge issue that we have in esports, inadequate security. I know things have been thrown at me when I've been casting events in stadiums and stuff like that. Yeah.
What would they throw?
Like food a lot of the time, or like we've had issues with laser pointers on players.
Not a crab. It wasn't the Hungry Box incident.
That was that was horrible.
The
that
crab
was
with
so
Hungry
weird.
Box, like what? So okay, so then I pose this question: what is there like a one fix all thing, or is it just like you have to set yourself to the standards that like say it's like the NBA and like the NFL has at their events?
Well, so for fighting games in particular, tournament organizers lose money on every event, period. Like, no matter how much they try to do, that's why they can't even pay their commentators and a bunch of, like, other drama about them just having, like, they're cutting corners in a lot of other areas. That's because they need to. They're not profitable. But I think if they raise, like, entry fees, they're also worried that too many people will not come. So they're kind of stuck in a tough spot. I don't blame them in particular, given that they are more of a grassroots community. But it's inexcusable for things like PAX West that we mentioned. It's like, come on. Yeah. Have at least some kind of screening because anybody can walk through.
I think it's inexcusable at any level. The scene, even the FGC, has grown to a point where this is not appropriate anymore.
I agree.
I mean, there's thousands of people that are going to be showing up at EVO next month, so it's like it needs to happen.
Yes, there's always one guy that kind of ruins it for everyone.
Yeah.
And I know we can just keep talking about this forever because no one in the chat is waiting for that CSGO run.
No,
I don't think they want to hear that.
No, it's all right. All right, we'll get back to the news though.
Next.
Until this gets better, there will just continue to be more.
Yeah. And finally, you might have played Stardew Valley. You might have remember the delight that was Harvest Moon. But what do you know about the Farming Simulator League? Big news out of the agricultural section of esports. John Deere farm equipment manufacturer is the newest team in the Farming Simulator League. Frodan, your thoughts on the competitive simulators as a broadcasted event. Specifically, let's talk about Farming Simulator.
Oh man, I gotta admit that I thought that this was an Onion title for like a news article, and then it turns out it was a real thing. 100,000 euro on the line for Farming Simulator, and you know what? I'm in no position to judge it. I think it's fantastic. I just can't believe it's real.
I 100% am going to watch this, by the way. I really want to know what a Farming Simulator tournament looks like.
It's probably exactly how it sounds.
I know, it sounds great. I'm going to watch
farm stuff, and whoever has the best farm wins.
Well, there's a reason why we're here. We have our expertise, but why are we talking about Farming Simulator when we actually have a digital farmer in the studio? Connor, producer on our show, has apparently we're not lying to you, played Farming Simulator and is a fan. Why did you download Farming Simulator, and do you actually like this game?
Yeah, I love this game. I just love simulator games. They're super relaxing, therapeutic.
What is like the drawing factor? Like, when you saw this game come out on Steam, what was you being like, all right, I have to play this game right now?
I'm just like a gearhead. Like I love the big tractors, and the tillers. Love that.
Do you play country music while you're doing it as well?
Yeah, occasionally.
Occasionally.
Usually I just like to listen to the nature.
Okay.
I love it. I'm going to play this game now for sure.
Now, are you going to watch the FSL broadcast when they go live?
Definitely. And I've been wanting to stream for a while now, so this might be my in.
Cloud9, if you're out there and you're looking to sponsor a team, our boy Connor's got you.
Look, I'm all up for more simulator broadcasts. That's all I'm saying. Like, I think this is a really interesting competitive space. I know nothing about this game. I am going to learn. I have been inspired.
Sure. And then we can have Esports News Show Simulator coming in 2020.
Incredible.
All right, well, that's it for us at Channel 9 News. But stick around for more Counter-Strike news later in the show.
I left my cowboy boots and my cowboy hat at home. We'll have to hopefully get over there.
You were raised on a farm.
I was raised on a farm.
Explains a lot about your person.
100-acre farm, 27 horses, 10 dogs, a cat, and a goat.
Nice.
That was my
Nice.
that was my life. Would you, if you were asked to like commentate the Farming Simulator League for like a
Absolutely.
weekend, would you do it?
Yeah, I'll do anything for enough money.
We know. As with the Overwatch.
Oh, damn. I'm sure Twitch chat will appreciate that. Yeah.
Some news we didn't have in that segment. Riot is teamed up with Twitch to host a Teamfight Tactics Twitch Rivals event. This is the first tournament for the newly released game. Now, were you guys surprised at how quickly the game took off? I know you mentioned it. People are sliding into your DMs more for that game than the shirtless workout pics that you posted. So, like...
Well, it turns out I have a lot of friends who decided that they want to hit me up for that. But I think the TFT, the Teamfight Tactics takeoff, it's not
Frozen
surprising.
Throne?
The Frozen Throne.
Yeah.
The pop-off is very obvious. I mean, League of Legends has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, PC player base currently in the West. People were really excited for this. Auto Chess has millions of subscribers prior to the release of TFT. And then people couldn't access it for so long.
People were in like 36-hour queues
Yeah.
waiting to get in on the PvE.
That's right. I was legitimately queuing up at like 7 p.m. the next night so I can play it at noon in my lunch break the following day. So
Was it worth it?
It was worth it. It was really fun, and I was
don't
literally
believe
playing
you.
it every single day. I was playing it till like 4 a.m. last night.
All right, we're gonna keep this out rolling. I know you guys really are.
We'll talk
are really
about Tier 2
excited.
esports and their roster now.
Yeah,
it's fine.
exactly.
It's fine.
We'll get to the Tier 2 CSGO roster. So up next at number 8, Jump and I battle it out with words in our Click Debate.
This is Click Debate, sponsored by Puma. Twitch announced that they are beta testing subscriber-only streams for Twitch affiliates and partners. Is this a good or bad thing? And as a Twitch employee, I'm obligated to say that this is not a bad thing. But I want to hear what these guys' answers are before we get to Jump and Monty's thoughts. We wanted to say that we'll be giving away one Puma gift card to a viewer, and all you have to do is post in chat who had the best argument, Jump or Monty, with the hashtag ClickDebate. Sorry, you must be 18 or older and live in North America. Jump, are paid subscriber streams good or bad for the Twitch platform or for the streamers or the consumers?
I think that you're definitely going to see esports and esports productions potentially benefit from the paywall. But I want to talk specifically about the consumers and the streamers themselves, because there was a tweet that went out that was specifically revolving around different game developers and publishers that have restrictions on hiding content behind a paywall for their streamers. And I think that if this is a very real thing, you're gonna find a lot of difficulty, and it's gonna run into a lot of problems and a lot of potential DMCAs and things like that that are gonna be difficult for streamers. So I don't think it's a good idea.
I think that it's not a good idea for most streamers. If you're talking about on an individual basis, having a subscriber-only stream, I think doesn't make a lot of sense, because you're trying to draw people in just through your stream personality. And also, the streamers don't really need it because they're already getting so much of the revenue from sponsorships. There's not a lot of production costs there. It's just them raking in the money. So they're making a ton. Like, their profit margin is already enormous. But for esports, and I do want to talk about this, I think esports fans for far too long have been getting enough stuff for free. When I started casting at OGN and we were doing League of Legends, you had to subscribe in order to get HD content, and that drove tens of thousands of subscribers and helped OGN monetize off of that English stream. Riot then came in and said, no, all of our esports are going to be for free. But historically, esports, you go back to the StarCraft days, the GSL, subscriptions were necessary.
Yeah.
And frankly, I think the value you get out of a subscription when you're watching 80 hours of content a month that has incredibly high production value, real costs associated with it, asking somebody to pay $5 or $10 a month for that is basically the cheapest form of entertainment you can have. So I think that more organizations need to make this the norm, because I think from an esports side, we need subscriptions. Only content. Pay-per-view should be the way forward, in my opinion.
But then how are you going to be able to actually go and bring in more of those non-endemics? Because if you're putting everything and all your big esports behind a paywall, nobody's going to be able to watch it. This isn't the what's the thing in the cage? The UFC, that's the word we're looking for. This isn't the UFC. You can't just go to Buffalo Wild Wings and hang out and chill and watch the game. If you want to watch an esports event like ESL One Cologne that they're having going on right now, you're going to have to be behind that paywall. How can you bring in new viewers? It's not going to happen.
But my argument would be you could have a smaller audience but monetize better and make esports more sustainable because people are actually paying for the content. We've already seen this work. Like, you could ask that question, but my counter argument is, how did GSL work for years behind a subscription paywall?
Yeah, Major League Gaming did the same thing. I was paying for VODs back in the early 2000s.
And you know what? You can say, well, I don't have that money. I was literally a college student with no money, and I still managed to find like $10 a month. And because it was my primary form of entertainment in college, and because, again, if you're making 20, 30 hours of content a week, it's such a bargain, honestly. You'd pay twice that much to go to a 2-hour movie. Think about spending, $5, $10 for infinite content. So I don't know. I feel very strongly about this. I think taking the free broadcasts away from people, that's my take.
I think I agree with you more on that end, but I think when it comes down to the side of the streamers and the content creators, I think it's going to be a very difficult situation because there have been a lot of streamers that have already talked a lot about, okay, we have these, subscriber Sundays. It's something that's always existed, but now let's put it behind a paywall. That might be great, but the lurkers, the ones that aren't actually subscribed, that just do a couple tips or just enjoy that content, that's what's giving these streamers that growth. That's what's giving these streamers that ability to grow their brand and have a much more sustainable community. And if you put that behind a paywall, you're going to lose viewership, you're going to lose that retention, and viewers are just going to find other places. There's tens of thousands of streamers that are on Twitch. They're just going to find somebody else.
Yeah, that's fine. For individual streamers, I totally agree. Don't think it's good. For esports, I welcome the return to pay-per-view content.
Are people making too big of a deal just because it's an optional thing? They're like, some people are acting as if it's going to become a practice, but this is something that people can just opt into if they want to. Therefore, Bill, I want to ask, is it really bad that this exists just as something that they could explore?
No, I mean, like, anytime there's a new announcement that comes out and the word optional existed, for some reason the average viewer, the average reader looks at it and goes, oh no, this is permanent. This is exactly what happens right now. I mean, I think because it's optional right now, sure, but things are going to change, and that's going to be difficult for people.
Okay. Monty, any last final thoughts here?
No, I agree. It's optional. I say use it in esports. Let's start experimenting with that. I think if everyone in esports went back to a paywall model tomorrow, the industry would be much healthier from a financial perspective.
All right, it might take a little big of a hit, but we'll see how things transpire moving forward. That's it for Click Debate, sponsored by Puma. Make sure to vote in chat who you thought won between these two and use the hashtag ClickDebate. Back to my guy, Dapper Dan. All right, well, Monty, chat didn't seem to love your take. Would you care to briefly repitch?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, it's not a surprise that sometimes I come around with some unpopular opinions that are actually based in logic. And so I think I got more Click Debate wins there. and frankly, I find this hilarious because chat doesn't understand that I'm actually fueled by their hatred. So I only get more powerful the more people hate me publicly.
I think you've had that on your Twitter profile for like 5 years.
Feasting on
fanboys' tears.
Yes.
So there's nothing I love more than just drawing this out as long as possible for you CSGO guys. I'm a big CSGO fan myself. Yeah, no, I'm a big CSGO fan myself. I'm actually excited about this roster. So.
Well, what's funny is that you also had fans voting for you to win the debate before
I hate you, but I still want you to win.
It was like on one hand, it was like, I hate Manny Castro. Hashtag Monty. And it was like, he was just starting his debate. Monty didn't even say anything.
No, that's just what happens when you exist on the plane on the opposite
The
side.
polarity of the internet never ceases to amaze me.
It happens, and like the angrier that they get, the longer that we get until the announcement. So it's one of those.
Yeah.
I believe Jack said every resident sleeper in chat means that it's 1 second delayed.
Yeah, exactly. 1 second delay for
You
the
guys are
announcement.
the bears of your own.
You guys are helping.
Yeah, it's like a soccer match where we're just going to create the extra time.
It's the bonus.
It's a bonus time.
Next up at number 7, our chief memeorologist and doppelganger to the man sitting next to me, Christopher Montana, gives us his weekly social trendcast.
7,
Hello, I'm your chief memeorologist, Christopher Montana. I'll be your guide through the wholesome content world of social media.
So wholesome.
So wholesome all the time, never getting death threats ever. As it was mentioned earlier in the news, it was not a good week for North American League of Legends fans as Europe's LEC stomped the LCS and Rift rivals. And on the internet, it was, of course, open season on the US. Here's a lovely sampler of shade thrown at NA over the weekend. The classic EU greater than NA. I like the derpy dragons that we have right here. Of course, LCS deservedly the derpiest. I
Good
like
job,
how
Medic.
LEC is kind of looking at it like, what the hell's wrong with you? And then, of course, we also have a little bit of apple pie, the classic NA metaphor. I'm not sure exactly what this means. I don't think this is the best, the best diss. Like, you eating apple pie should be better if you're a European team. Putting apple pie on the NA team's jersey doesn't really have any metaphorical meaning.
No, well, it's like if you're gonna pie someone, like you need to, like the purpose of it is making a mess. And it's like he got like a 3-week-old pie and was like, here you go, here's some crumbs to slide down the front of your jersey.
Where's the whipped cream? Where's
Yeah.
the theatrics? That's what we do best in the USA,
Yeah.
which is flash and no substance.
Exactly, the clown fiesta. We've embraced it. So, I mean, I feel like we should be the ones with the pies as the clowns of esports, right?
Pieing ourselves.
Pieing ourselves, or each other, really. But anyway, let's move along. Up next,
So we didn't actually get to ask you, do you have a favorite flavor of pie?
I mean, I just like all kinds of pie, but I like pecan pie a lot.
Pecan pie? It's not pecan, it's pecan.
Pecan pie.
What about you, Monty? Do you have a favorite color of pie?
color.
I like the purple pies.
I guess brown because I like pumpkin pie.
Are you just asking these questions to simply stall?
No, I'm not. No.
They're already
That's not it.
I mean,
I'm very
the
curious.
The CSGO fans here should love the creamy Moses memes, right? Pieing is a staple of the CSGO esports scene.
Sometimes I'm just invested in the people that I work with. All right, anyway, back to the show.
Little internet show you might have heard about called Hot Ones, not bigger than this show though, recently had rapper Schoolboy Q on their show. And when asked about Fortnite, he had a pretty strong take. Here it is.
Have you picked a side in the great Fortnite versus Apex Legends debate?
Apex.
Yeah.
Fortnite was dope when it first came out. I was with it. I was going in. But then they started making it weak, kid-friendly, you know what I mean? Like, once a game gets so big, they have no choice but to cater to the weaker side of it. Because not too many people are good. You know, it's a small percentage of people that are good versus people that are just playing. So, as of right now, Apex is on Fortnite. But Apex is growing just rapidly, crazy. It's going to be just as big as Fortnite, and they're going to have to cater to a bunch of weak-ass, little-ass, punk-ass kids. And I'm going to be right back at Cold Faithful Call of Duty. It's going to be the same.
It's always for you.
Yeah, always there, Old Faithful.
So Jump,
Have
as
you
our
picked a
resident Apex expert, is Apex going to have to cater to a bunch of punk-ass kids?
I don't know. Does it mean that they have to, does like the level that they have to cater depend on how far he actually got in the Hot Wings challenge? 'Cause we didn't actually get to see how much of that hot sauce he actually ate.
Yeah.
So we don't really know. You never know.
Oh, apparently he did finish them. We just got told by their
Oh,
producer.
Okay, so he did. But what do you think about the Apex Fortnite debate in terms of skill ceiling? Because he's presenting it like they're lowering the skill ceiling to cater to children.
Is a man that's wearing a furry hat gonna tell us about what it's like to play activities or do things in a juvenile fashion?
I mean, people can be saying the same things. Do people with colored hair actually be allowed to have an expert opinion on things? We may never know.
No.
But I do agree. I think that it debates Fortnite and it's saying, and there's obviously the debate back and forth. Do I think it's going to cater to kids? No. Like, it's a run and gun in games. It's at the X Games, for God's sake. They chose Apex over X Games because of the action-packed nature of it and because it's something that you can add a sense of maturity. PG-13, maybe they have to at least turn 13, but the 12-year-olds, no.
I feel like we just need to introduce Schoolboy Q to a game called Counter-Strike, and then maybe he will, evolve into that next.
See what he thinks.
If that's really what he's after. If that's really what he's after, that's all I'm saying. So prior to their loss this week, the London Spitfire may have already been out of it when they walked onto the stage this weekend as Gesture, Birdring, and the rest of the gang left Fury behind. I really feel like this is an excellent metaphor of the Spitfire's teamwork in general, where like one guy is trickling in late to the fights, they're staggering themselves. Like this is actually just an incredible metaphor for their play right now.
I'm just getting PTSD as a childhood when your friends all wanted to go out together and you'd be like, guys, I'm coming, and you're like out the door, everybody's in the car and you're just like the last one there.
I feel like they're doing a good job representing the average Overwatch experience where 5 of your teammates are on coordination and the last diva main is just like, oh, I'll fly in right by.
Yeah, exactly. No
So
defense
great job.
matrix there, not even close enough. So yes, the diva player there, late to the party. And of course, in our weekly Doc Watch, the two-time has made his first official response to the E3 IRL stream debacle. On his personal Twitter account, Guy Beam, he posted an explanation and an apology. We're not going to read it. You at home should. Reading is, of course, a lost art these days. But Jump, what did you think of his statement?
I think that Guy Beam suffers from the classic case of it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Which is the best way to live your life.
I mean, for better or for worse until you get blacklisted by a lot of people. But that's just part of it.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Oh, no, not even a little bit. No, but I mean, I think it was fine. I think it was, I mean, you said it yourself. It was a well thought out response, but I mean, it's still, to me, I don't believe anything. In 6 months, you're going to see another like Dr. Disrespect because that's just such an integral part of his brand that I think he's just going to keep testing the limit and seeing how far he can go on the tightrope until it breaks.
Have you seen the reaction for his unbanning process? There's so many people in chat gifting subs and kind of banding and rallying together. It's like they're tailgating for the inevitable return for Doc's Disrespect's move. That's why there's conspiracy theories. People are saying, did he do this on purpose so he can get a vacation, kind of do a publicity stunt? I don't think so, but I mean, that's why people even make those theories up because they see the fandom behind this guy.
Yeah, and he's still catering to his fans. We've been seeing him with his PR, handling things while his ban has been going on. He's been hyping up his July 8th return with some teasers on Twitter that are legitimately quite fun.
I want to know who his PR team is and how good they are.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at
some. I got you. I got your spot. Hello? Doc. Doc, is that you? Hold on. Doc, is that you? Hello? Wait a minute. Where are you? Wait, you're what? You're what? You're swimming across the Pacific Ocean? Hold on, I'll be right there.
So, Frodan, are you allowed to like this content as a Twitch employee? Do they monitor you when you hover over that heart button on TweetDeck? Do you furtively poke the heart and then think about it for 10 seconds and then retract your like?
I think I am allowed to enjoy things on the internet, yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, and also support people's physical activities such as swimming across the Pacific Ocean in their leisure time.
Okay.
So I don't think that crosses the line, but once again, check the terms of service.
Always check the terms of service. And finally, down in Florida, where the worst things always happen, we had the CEO Fighting Game Championship, a surprising bright spot for Florida, but we did have this awkward post-game handshake between Dragon Ball Z pros Ringa and Yipes. This is a long line of history in terrible esports handshakes, and it's just another disaster.
Well, Yipes is actually the guy on commentary making fun of Tachikawa and their handshake, but I mean, that just goes to show you the current staleness of the Dragon Ball meta. It's just a bunch of rocks and papers going at it. Like, no, I pick rock, you pick paper. No, I pick paper, you pick rock. It's back and forth. I love Dragon Ball FighterZ, one of my favorite fighting games ever, but my lord, does Arxis need to do something to make sure to refresh it because it has so much potential. Last year at EVO, so much hype. This year, at the very bottom of the registration list. and it's not even a Sunday game. So I'm really disappointed in it, and I think ultimately that meme is a sign of things to come if Dragon Ball doesn't turn it around.
I think that he just used a handshake as a platform to talk about the upcoming desires that he has for the Dragon Ball meta.
I like
that is
that.
a tangent, and there's a reason why you're a professional in this space.
He just used it to rag on the developer. That's impressive. You can turn an argument from something into something entirely different.
I guess that $100 gig of casting a weekend of fighting games is not going to be in my pocket.
Oh no, what a tragedy. All right, this exchange did remind me though of another classic handshake back when friend of our show and occasional host Malik Forte had this fumbling exchange with Seagull on E-League's Overwatch broadcast, one of our first big Overwatch events back in 2016. Ooh. Brutal. I mean, he baits him so hard by switching the mic hand and extending his hand for the gesture. That is... You can't do that.
Yeah, like, okay, so for the last clip, the Dragon Ball one, sure, that's just a miscoordination. Do I want a handshake or do I want a fist bump?
Man.
Malik did that one to himself. I'm sorry, buddy. Like, there's no excuse.
Well, also, Seagull was trying to do a left-handed handshake. So, like, I feel like when the left hand comes out, Seagull probably should have been like, that's not a handshake hand, but whatever.
I appreciate the commitment, though. He didn't give up. He chased that thing down. Finally got it. Good job, Seagull.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So that's what's been trending in the forums and message boards. I'm your chief memeorologist, Christopher Montana. Back to you, Monty. I do want to bring up something that we didn't cover in this segment. So Dr. Disrespect posted 2 tweets today taking shots at a Kotaku writer and Kotaku's editor because they published an article that was mildly critical of Dr. Disrespect's apology statement. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, I think we talk about Doc a lot, but I do think that...
Really? We do?
Yeah, every now and then. I do think that you shouldn't really take the bait. You know, Kotaku's going to write about Kotaku stuff.
I mean, the problem with that is, I agree, like, Kotaku is a steaming dumpster fire, but if you give them attention, you are only giving them money.
Yes.
So you must ignore the trolls.
Kotaku is Monte Cristo in a different form.
In the horrific form. You're comparing me to Kotaku. That's low. That's a low blow for
I'm saying, in fact, that only the hate fuels them.
And like the article itself where he criticizes Guy for apologizing on the behalf of Dr. Disrespect. And he said that, like, well, you know, he is Dr. Disrespect, and it's like, yeah, but like Dr. Disrespect is still his brand, and I think that like it's okay for him to step out of character and to do that. Like,
of course it is.
It's great.
Yes.
But these are the same people who can't tell the difference between reality and fiction, right? Which is why they're having trouble distinguishing Guy Beam from Doc Disrespect.
Hey, this isn't.
It's a performance.
We're not talking about TSM fans on the show, okay? Calm it down.
Okay,
We're not.
all right.
This isn't fan logic. We're not on Thorne's show right now. It's not happening.
All right. We should move on.
Should we? I feel like we're just getting closer.
I'm a man of the people, man. It's
We're
hard.
just getting closer to this CSGO
Exclamation point roster, by the way, gives you guys the early knowledge, so you can
Yes.
type that in, and then you don't have to watch the rest of the show. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, moving along to number 6.
guys are
It's
evil.
time for our loot box rant.
6.
Welcome to the Loot Box Rant. Today we're letting you know what upcoming releases and content we're hyped for, specifically for esports though. So let me kick things off by saying that I cannot wait for Warcraft 3 Reforged. While we don't have a specific release date yet for this update, graphical update of Warcraft 3, it is supposed to be coming out sometime this year in 2019. I'm so excited for this because I started my casting and esports career back in 2004 with Warcraft 3. It was the first game I casted. I love RTS titles, and since we're not getting any new ones recently, I'm going to be really enjoying seeing many of my favorite pro players come back and play. Obviously, we are going to have a lot of big personalities on Twitch coming back to this game, especially players like Grubby, maybe Todd, who are going to be returning to Warcraft 3. So it might not be the biggest game, but for me, it's going to be super fun to be able to see all of my old favorite players from 15 years ago competing in tournaments once again. I hope I get an opportunity to cast it, honestly. Might not make the biggest splash, but as a piece of nostalgia for us older gamers. I think it is going to be incredibly fun, and I'm so happy that Blizzard has been refreshing some of their old titles, like StarCraft, the original StarCraft, remastering that one, and now coming back with Warcraft 3 as well. Does make my Blizzard fanboy heart beat a little bit faster, that's for sure.
You talk about nostalgia. How can you not talk about Warcraft 3 customs?
Yeah, exactly.
That is the reason why I'm hyped.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. You know, Sky, Todd, Grubby, the Four Kings, all of them great stuff. Great esports legacy. Warcraft 3 still kicking in China, by the way. But Warcraft 3 customs, I'm still playing it right now with my friends. And if you look at it, Auto Chess, Dota, and all these other things, like they came from Warcraft 3 custom mods. And they've actually started to spawn new generations of games. We have a discussion usually within our group of friends that if you're just looking for a new game design idea, just go and load up every single Warcraft 3 custom map in history and just try to build a new genre off of it.
Is this where I like come on the show and tell you guys I've actually never touched a Warcraft game in my life?
So not World of Warcraft.
Nope.
Not any of the Warcraft.
Nope.
RTS.
I played Hearthstone,
Okay,
so like
so
that
it falls
counts.
apart right there.
Okay, I mean, yeah, Hearthstone and StarCraft Wings of Liberty, but that's about it for my Warcraft days.
All right, well, enough of this guy. Staying in the world of Warcraft, I'd like to talk about, surprise, Hearthstone's upcoming expansion set, Saviors of Uldum. If you're a fan of Hearthstone in the early years, you may remember one of the most beloved expansions called the League of Explorers, which is based on 4 heroes who excavate ancient treasures and seek thrilling adventures, Indiana Jones style. Well, yesterday, Blizzard announces the new expansion, Saviors of Uldum, and dropped a trailer with one of the sickest music tracks yet.
It was super good.
Super good. And now I wanted to channel my inner Monte Cristo and ask a rhetorical question with some biting sarcasm. Is it just me, or did this expansion feel like it went way faster than the other ones? Well, as it turns out, when you do things like update the game frequently with cool content and discuss things transparently with the community, the fans are happy. What a novel concept. That's right, this past few months has been a true revelation as every 2 to 3 weeks, Blizzard has been shaking up the meta with the round of timely nerfs, unprecedented huge wave of buffs, a special legendary promo card given away for free that high hit impact, and a new Hall of Fame card introduced just yesterday. The Hearthstone team's been absolutely killing it lately, so if you are a Hearthstone fan, you may have been burned in the past with lack of communication, risk aversion, and generally frustrating hands-off approach to designing the game, but no longer, because while other Blizzard games have tragically been sent to the farm simulator, Hearthstone has absorbed the resources and members from other devs team, which has resulted in the seemingly 180 turnaround from previous design philosophies. And the best part, they said that this should be the normal development pace that they're going to have moving forward. And I know Blizzard's gotten a lot of deserved flack recent times, but as a Blizz fanboy, we'll take the W's where we can get them.
There you go.
Always works. Well, you know, you talk about Warcraft, you talk about the Blizz world. Let's talk about Apex Legends. I'd like to end this by saying, you know, right here, if I wasn't on this show, I'd be watching the Nines, but then after that, I'd be kicking into Apex Season 2, which dropped today. I actually was almost late to my call time because it dropped at 10 a.m. and I played it for 3 hours until I had to show up and drive all the way here to this side of Los Angeles. Now, Season 2 is going to be action-packed with more content than you have ever seen in Apex Legends. Acquiring 50 million players in the first 30 days, Apex has taken the Battle Royale by storm. Now you've got the new character, Watson, a French voice actor, by the way, and is going to be bringing all of her electricity goodness. You saw in the trailer, Leviathans are on the map. There's 2 of them, actually, and you've got flyers that are carrying loot boxes around and things galore. You've got an updated battle pass, you've got content, you've got a ranked ladder, anything and everything that everyone has whined and complained and said, this isn't Fortnite, this isn't the awesome content that we get with Fortnite. Sorry. Season 1, that's a thing of the past. Season 2, it's here to stay, and Apex Legends is gonna continue to rock it and take the world by storm.
I'm really looking forward to getting back into the game myself now that Season 2 is here. But that's it for our Loot Box Rant. Let us know what you're hyped for in chat, in the world of esports, and in your comments. I don't know, this is what you say at the end of these things, but we're going to read them, so you might as well do it and react to them right now.
Right now.
Now, please.
All right, so the question is, are you guys going to play some Apex tonight?
I can't, unfortunately, but I am really looking forward to getting back into it.
Yep, I'm literally going home and driving an hour and a half in traffic because that's the delight of Los Angeles, and then going straight to play the game.
Well, sounds good. Maybe we can party up. Well, Monty can join us next time.
I'll join you next time.
All right, so we're moving the show along, and this week's C9 Spotlight, Cloud9 team respond to YouTube comments from fans. Let's just say that internet is a weird place.
5.
They literally all share one brain cell. Love these idiots. Yes.
They all literally share one brain cell. Love these idiots. It's pretty accurate, honestly.
They all literally share one brain cell. Love these idiots. Thank you.
They all literally share one brain cell. Love these idiots. I feel like this is Reaper's like other account. Like it says Kristen, but
they all literally share one brain cell. Love these idiots. I guess that's supposed to be a good thing, so thank you for the compliment.
They all literally share one brain cell. I love these idiots. Yeah, I only have like one brain cell, so I guess I'm the brain of the team in a way, so yeah, thanks.
Looks like a fish, lol. Oh, this one, everyone was already taking the photo, so I just, oh no.
Optic ain't ready for the psycho fish. They weren't ready. I took them down.
CCCXXX says Svenskarian's such a beast. And Nosy40 responds with, he's such a fucking Chad. It makes me so hard. Yeah, no, I fully agree with this comment.
Zazel wakes up my rocket. Well, it's impressive he can afford a rocket. Those are pretty expensive.
Niski, please stop being cute. I'm so in love. Yeah, I'm happy for you, man.
Lickers looks like Alex from Minecraft. Okay, that is a white man. I can't really disagree with that. Oh yeah, maybe it's a girl. Wow. Damn.
You quero maior que licorice. Capa.
Next one, Wait Sneaky's voice is deep and charming as fuck. I get that a lot, kind of. People say they like my voice. I don't know. I've had it for a really long time. I mean, obviously since I hit puberty, but like, it kind of started this way, and then, you know, I used to crack a bit. Like my voice would crack a lot, but I don't really get voice cracks anymore. So now it's just smooth.
Hjart Purcell says, Dennis really is a new man on C9. He was never this goofy on TSM. I'm glad he's so happy. Yeah, I mean, I like C9 a lot. I was also pretty happy on TSM, but I mean, I'm just happy to be on C9.
Ah, Niski is just a sassy lady. Wait, what's a sassy lady? Wait, that's not even true. Why am I a sassy lady? And you love it? Then, I mean, I guess.
In this game, strength does not come from muscles. They cannot make you train, nor push you harder. Muscles neither fuel your motivation, nor your stubbornness. No biceps will ever help you lift the weight of your own decisions. Trust me, that takes a different kind of strength.
Isn't nudity banned on Twitch, Dan?
Check the terms of service.
What are the? Is that a loophole? A naked Greek statue? I'm just asking. It's art.
I just want to appreciate
it's
art.
It is.
Exactly. What's wrong with appreciating art on Twitch?
Exactly. Don't you think that is like a very weird gray area?
I will tell you the answer to that if you pay for my subscriber-only stream.
Oh.
I'll show off a lot of statues of David.
Okay. I will definitely spend $5 in order to find the answer to this question. You thought they were going to announce. Great. Well, we are, as a reminder, going to be talking to C9's CEO, Jack Etienne. He's in Twitch chat right now. You can talk to him now. He'll be releasing the new C9 CSGO roster on this show eventually, so don't go away. You may have heard some ramblings, but you can only hear the official word first here on the Nines. So tell your friends to enjoy our lovely show.
Yeah, and then later we tried out for the team, but spoiler, we didn't make it. So we're gonna practice our aim skills on Osu in One for the Road.
And now, just when you thought you can't get enough of countdowns and PogChamps and roster reveals that Prius is actually a part of the team, within our greater countdown, it's Stream of the Crop at number 4.
Here in the Nines, we bring you the best plays in Stream of the Crop. And if you don't think they're streamy enough, well then send us what you've seen. Help us out. We don't have fleets of interns searching web for clips. We have one dude chained to a gateway PC from 2000.
It's Connor.
Playing
He
farming
uses
simulator.
Netscape.
Oh, God. Our
SimCity
first
2000.
highlight comes from the PUBG streamer Choco Taco. He sets his trap and then waits for his prey.
All right.
All the gas cans.
All of the gas cans next to the tree. And then you get the creative kill. I love it.
Very nice.
I love how that developers put these interacting objects in games, right? Because you should be able to kill people how you want to, and you should be able to be creative with it.
And for a year, I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, if I shoot the gas can, it should be able to explode.
Yep. Literally,
thank God they put it in. It was literally unplayable.
Literally last week, they put it in on their new big patch update, and people are trying to do crazy things. And Choco Taco is known to do this stuff. It's what his entire brand is built on, so it's pretty cool. Next up, we have Decay of the Los Angeles Gladiators taking the faces off the Toronto Defiant.
They've got infrasight up, so now the spawns can't even sneak out.
I mean, this is so great. He does have the infrasight, so he does have the wall hacks, right, coming in. So it does make it a little bit easier, but still hitting everybody's head is incredibly impressive.
Now, Monty, with the new 2-2-2 team comps, will Widowmaker be a staple hero?
I can neither confirm nor deny that 2-2-2 role lock will be in the Overwatch League at any point in time. But if it was, I do think we're going to see a lot more Widowmaker, because part of the problem is simply the tankiness and sustain that you have in GOATs. It means that if you're not hitting perfect headshots, you frequently can't use Widow that well. But against squishier targets that have less healing, Widow seems pretty good. Yeah. Widow seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think that Widowmaker performance is reflective of every Widowmaker that's not on my team.
Yeah, exactly. All right, as we mentioned before, the fighting game event CEO took place this past weekend, and as casters, sometimes the writing is on the wall that a game is all but over. But in Smash Ultimate, dry erase markers are used to write on those walls. Let's take a look at this back and forth match between MK Leo and Mars. Frodan.
That might be it. He might not be able to make it back. Oh, he does! Oh, no! He reses everything. Leo chokes the punish. Arsene comes through at the best time.
What is he doing? He's winning.
I mean, this is some crazy stuff to get back onto the map.
Hungrybox has no voice right now, Mike. His voice is gone.
I don't know how.
What am I watching?
All right, just keeps going through the DI. Even the game is thinking it's over at times. All right, so Frodan,
oh, man.
What are your thoughts?
I love the Smash
casting
community.
fighting games. Do you?
I'm part of Smash community. I sign up for events. I attend majors. I go 0-2 in pools. I drown. I'm part of it, and I love it. It's super hype. But man, stop saying everything is over and trying to be the one saying this is it. I mean, you're basically as correct as the cryptocurrency stock market analysts, right? It's like, oh, is it going to go up? Does it go down? Maybe not. This is it.
I definitely have a different perspective on this, because I think that if it looks like it's over and you're an expert and you call it over and that it's not, it makes an even more hype moment. Because,
being wrong?
Yes, being wrong.
Repeatedly?
Okay, maybe not repeatedly like in that clip, but I think for the most part, it creates an even more hype moment because it should have been over, which makes the comeback more impressive.
Maybe it's just a struggle that both the casters are just facing on the dynamic of who gets that final soundbite. Maybe that's just what it is. You've got Zero, you've got Hungrybox. They're two very strong personalities.
Yeah, they did great overall. Yeah. And overall, I love the Smash community and I love the FGC commentary. It's just that they seem to be in this arms race of always doing it. And it's been happening for years, Monty.
I think in small amounts it's good. But okay. if it's happening constantly, I will agree with you. I will agree with you.
All right. Well, this is not the loot box rant segment, so we got to move on. Finally, we have 2 Apex Legends clips for you in the audience to decide between. First up, we have NRG's Dizzy wrecking it in the Face It Pro Series event.
I'm dropping.
I love everything about this.
Oh,
it's going up, it's going down.
Yeah, and the way he snaps as well over to like the different targets, it's something that you don't see in games unless it's a hardcore FPS. Counter-Strike obviously being the main one.
This guy's pretty good.
Yeah,
I think
a little bit.
I love the creativity, and you and I were talking before the show about this jump, where we like the long time to kill, and the long time to kill allows you, I feel like, to be more creative in these skirmishes because you have time to drop down, to recharge your shields, to use your grapple to get back up, to switch guns in order to finish off these engagements, and I think it's amazing.
And utilizing the Pathfinder movement, who is easily the most mobile character that exists in the game.
So fun to watch.
You can do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we have a second clip, and we have Cloud9 alum Shroud, who occasionally dips his toe in the Apex waters. Here is he teaming with other Cloud9 alum Skadoodle, casually showing us why he is one of the best first-person shooter gamers on the planet.
Dude, my guns are not working, let me tell you.
It's always interesting to watch Shroud because of how naturally gifted he is at FPS games. He never had the greatest career as a pro player, but just as a streamer, the stuff he can pull off regularly with all of these insane multi-kills is mind-bending. Like, I've seen him play Apex, I've just been watching his stream, with both of his teammates dead, and he kills like 9 people across 3 teams to end the game. It's nuts.
It feels like he has a switch, right?
Yeah.
Like the ability is like, you know what, I'm kind of messing around, having fun with the boys, and it's like, all right, now it's time to put pants on and really show people who's boss.
And it's a different kind of skill. From the Dizzy clip that we saw, a lot of it, of course, was him hitting shots, but it was also the movement and utilizing the Apex mechanics. At the end of the day, Shroud's just out shooting kids, and that's what makes him such a good gamer.
And the juxtaposition of how he's just very normal and casual and just like low energy, like, yeah, all right.
He's like that in real life, too. He's exactly the same.
Another day at the job.
All right, well, Jump, you're an Apex Legends broadcaster. Who fragged it better, Dizzy or Shroud?
Dizzy, hands down. I love Shroud. I love the skill that he has, but you can only shoot so well. When someone's moving circles around you, there's nothing you can do. And if you were to like take that clip and break it down frame by frame, there were a lot of really high-level mechanics that Dizzy was exploiting that you wouldn't really get to see unless you watched it over and over again.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe if Shroud put as much time into Apex as Dizzy did.
Hey,
different
Season 2
story.
just launched.
There you go.
We'll see. Season 2 and Shroud's grinding it. That's it for our stream of the crop. Let us know who you thought had the better play and send us the clips that you find using #the9s.
All right, chat, you heard what I had to say. You heard what these guys had to say. But what about you? Who do you think had the better Apex clip?
I think it was definitely Dizzy, but as much as I love Shroud.
So Shroud.
Are you gonna finish that sentence?
I think it was Dizzy. As much as I love Shroud, it was Dizzy.
That was surprisingly the coldest take I've ever seen you ever take. You were like, I think Shroud is good at video games. Like, where are you going with this that we haven't heard and seen a bajillion times?
He wasn't good at video games as a pro player, so. There you go. There's
also debatable, but yeah.
Best non-pro player that exists when it comes to shot. All right, well, you guys heard us talk about it a little bit earlier, but now we have our this week's Puma gift card winner. It's Krev. Congratulations. Tune in next week at the 9s for another chance to win.
The guy that was spamming Resident Sleeper nonstop with a gift card?
Yeah.
Yes.
Somehow.
All right.
Jack told him to do it, so it's okay.
All right, everybody. It's finally time to officially unveil the new CSGO Cloud9 roster. Very exciting. You may have heard rumors, but it's not official until you hear it here on the 9s. But because you guys spam so many Resident Sleepers, Jack has told us that we're only going to reveal half the roster this week and then half the roster next week. He did warn you.
We're going to
in
be
chat.
nice and give you 3 of them this week.
Three though, yes.
So like you have to wait for the other 2 next week.
Yeah. Just kidding, of course. Here's Jack. Here's Jack and Valens.
So mad right
Here's Jack and This is why it's fun. This is why it's fun to do this live. All right. So Jump and I are going to talk with Jack and Coach Valens in Cloud Connection, presented by AT&T.
3.
This is Cloud Connections, presented by AT&T. We are fortunate enough to not only have 1, but 2 guests on today for a big announcement. Cloud9 founder and CEO Jack Etienne and Coach Valens Soram Chowdhury. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Great to have you here. So we are going to be talking about CSGO today, obviously, with Valens here. You guys have been somewhat out of the game, obviously not going to be qualifying for the next major, but you do have a very storied history in CSGO over the years. You've had players like Shroud, Stewie2K, Skadoodle. You won the Boston Major, first North American team to ever win a CSGO major. So what are your thoughts, Jack, on the team coming into this year?
Well, from the major going forward, to be honest, we had a lot of troubles before the major, and what's not really known is even before that last major, like we were wondering if we needed to rebuild the team then because we were kind of just holding it together. But once we'd won the major, we're like, hey, like we can't make roster changes now. Let's try to see like how long we could take this thing going. Well, the answer was not very long, and so we started kind of just trying to patch the tire there and try to keep it going one member at a time, and never really finding the success we wanted. Often it wasn't necessarily our fault. We had some really unfortunate stuff happening with like Golden getting sick and Flusha needing to retire and a few other like unfortunate things. But at some point we had to realize like we had to actually hit the reset button on this team, and that's where we are today.
Well, you're here, obviously, because there's some breaking news, and we're not going to delay any longer. So, Jack, what's the big announcement?
So,
You guys have a good day today?
Yeah, it was fun. No, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
nice.
The weather's finally turning around, so.
Yeah, it's a good time to be in
Had
Los
some
Angeles.
ramen on Sawtell this morning.
Oh, did you? It's great. It's a great spot over there.
Do you eat a lot of ramen in Los Angeles?
It's a habit.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Is your favorite place on Sawtell?
Probably. I'm more of a like Japanese.
You should go check out Black Market on the street. It's really good shopping. I like it a lot.
Oh, nice.
I hear there's some decent spots in the valley too, like around Bourbon.
Yeah,
Studios.
well, I prefer Silver Lake ramen, really. It's kind of
a
the
little
best.
saltier over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really salty. Yeah, it's very salty in Twitch chat right now.
You guys having fun?
Yeah, you guys enjoying the show?
It's beautiful.
Monty, your son, it's UR.
There's some rumors out there, and I'm going to confirm some things that are happening. Yes, we have actually signed on 4 new players. We started with Daps, and along with that, we started moving to TenZ, Mixwell, and Koosta. So really excited to bring these 4 guys on.
Now, Valens, why was it necessary to make this roster change?
I think Jack touched on this after the major. We never really tried to rebuild completely. It was just kind of try to slot in players and figure out if you can bring back that kind of magical run back. That form with Stu leaving, Tark eventually leaving, Skadoodle retiring. We're just trying to slot in players to just make sure or try to hope for bringing back that run. What we really need to do is rebuild. So that's the main reason why.
And to be clear, the player you are keeping from your previous roster is Autimatic, correct?
Oh yeah, of course. Can't forget the anchor of our team.
Right. So not just the 4 new players, but one player has survived the Cloud9 CSGO Battle Royale.
Yes. Replaced 80% of them.
Okay, great.
and also, it's super important that I forgot to mention James. He is our new coach, and we're super happy and proud to have him on board.
Okay, so let's start with breaking down. You said you pick up Daps first. Why were you targeting Daps, Jack?
When you think about like someone in North America who's actually built winning teams, there's really no one else in North America like him. Damien has built now 2-3 different teams that have become top 10 on HLTV. So when he became available, like immediately we gravitated towards him as someone like a top prospect. And then after speaking with him for several hours, he really like checked all the boxes on what I want out of a leader. And so it was actually quite simple, and I got really excited. I hope, and I think he got really excited to work with us. So it was really, fantastic timing that Energy let him go for us to pick him up.
So as the core member of the team, Valens, what does he bring from a coach's perspective?
He's actually someone that, when I was playing CSGO, he was playing as well as the very beginning of CSGO. And from then, you can just tell this is a guy that is someone that just took on that leadership role and kind of went with all the necessities of what that means. And that goes from being like a team first player, from a leadership guy that knows when to bring up the energy, and like all these other things that requires just in a CSGO team nowadays to be at the top, you need someone like him. And I think that's definitely the biggest reason why you need to start with someone like Daps.
Staying with you, Valens, let's switch it over away from Daps now and move over to Koosta and Mixwell. What do you feel that they bring to the table that the team was lacking that you feel they're going to fill that space?
Yeah, I think another set, just like Daps, you need qualities that you're bringing in that different roles bring in, specific roles. I think Koosta is someone that's really underrated. He's a great role player. He knows when to support. He knows when to make aggressive plays. We never really had someone that was just as good as that. Someone that can do all the things he can do. When it comes to Mixwell, he's just someone that just stands out. He can frag when he needs to. He goes for all the plays. He really likes to figure out kind of what the team needs to be doing around him. He's good at directing people. All these things make those two a really, really great addition.
So with Koosta, just as a quick follow-up, I've seen him, I remember a few years ago, there was so much hype coming out of him from Enemy and CLG and Liquid, but he never really lived up to that expectation. What do you think you can do to help him live up to that potential that we've been hearing about for so many years?
Yeah, and I think that's a really good question. I think for him too, obviously because of his quick rise and also kind of relatively quick down, he started to doubt himself as well. So kind of that self-doubt that kind of eats away at you is something that I really feel like our group around him can help him overcome. I've seen him do some amazing things, both as a rifler and as an operator. In this team, in this role, he's going to be more of a rifler. But he's just one of those guys that he can step up when he needs to. He just needs the right team and support around him to really flourish through the issues he's had in the past.
All right, and Jack, what about the youngster TenZ? I hear you have a story about him?
Yeah, it was before he was flying out, he was jumping on his flight, and he's like, hey, I'm going to take my first flight. And I'm like, wait, what? Getting on this very first flight to come out to visit us? So that was really exciting. And then when he arrived, he actually brought his mom along, and it was really cool to see that support from home, because you need to realize he's only 18. He graduated high school like 3-4 days ago. And I really love the way his mom actually explained it. She's like, hey, a lot of young men his age are going to college for their first time, and the parents are taking their kids to the dorms like for their first experience. We are that first experience, kind of living away from home. So she's making sure he's getting, going to a place that's safe and comfortable, and also she gets to visit LA a bit.
Yeah. That's really fun. So with TenZ coming here, are you planning to build out a living situation for your CSGO players in Los Angeles?
We already did that, yeah.
Okay.
So we've already got a house for them, really nice rooms. They've got their own individual bathrooms. They've got people who clean the rooms for them, do laundry for them. We make food for them. I mean, we basically supply everything for them so they can completely just focus on CS.
Excellent to hear. Mm-hmm. So Valens, Autimatic is returning, but you have 4 new additions. How will you say this team is going to be different from a stylistic perspective from what the C9 roster was before?
I think this is actually the closest that, as far as kind of player for player, that we are closest to the major run, which is funny because our entire goal over the last year was to try to bring the team back to that front. The reason I say that is that we had Tim go to the opping role in the last 6 to 9 months. And as good as, just the caliber of player he is, he owned it. He did really amazing. What is really hard to do is find a rifler that can fill Tim's shoes. Mm. And now that Tim is back to rifling, that kind of opens up us to make more dynamic plays. Koosta, like I said, he's a kind of a jack of all trades player as well, which Stewie was for us in the past. So I think the team overall feel-wise is actually going to be very close to how that felt back over, a little bit over a year ago.
Interesting. So you also have James, as Jack mentioned earlier, returning to the C9 family. How are you guys going to work together, and what are your coaching responsibilities going to be?
James is actually someone that like you said, he was part of C9 as an analyst a couple years back. And from then, working with him and also before just knowing him, he's someone that when he decides to do something, he goes all in, 110%. He has probably the greatest work ethic I've seen in terms of someone that, just needs to know what can he do to make the team better. He goes all in. No questions asked. And one thing he's going to really do a great job with is keeping the guys organized, making sure we're actually reviewing the problems that we've discussed throughout the week in practice, recapping them, and also going over the things that we're doing well. That's something that I think a lot of teams kind of don't do enough of, is you focus so much on the problems, but you don't focus enough on what you're doing well. And you need both. And just his organization, his work ethic is going to carry us through that.
Now, we know what the roster is. We know that James is staying on, but the real question is, when are we going to see them play? When is the debut going to happen for the Cloud9 team? I know the Blast Pro Series is coming up very soon. Is that something we're going to see at, or where can we expect to see them play for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, unless somehow our practices are going to get leaked too, the first time you guys will see this team in action is in Blast Pro Series LA next weekend.
Excellent. So before we let you go, Jack, We do have to ask some questions about Rift Rivals this past weekend. What were your impressions about how the C9 League of Legends team was doing?
So, it's really disappointing because we were really excited about that event. We practiced really hard for it, and unfortunately, about a week before it, one of our members got sick, and next thing you know, another one person got sick, a third person got sick, and by the time Rift Rivals had come, all 11 players on our team were sick to varying degrees. Like some of the guys having to go to the hospital and get IVs.
Holy.
It was pretty bad, actually. We tried to struggle through it. We had Sneaky play on the first day, and he literally could not speak. He was mute, trying to ping the map of where he was, and he was shaking. It was really uncomfortable. So we finally said, "Hey, listen, like you need to go home and rest. Blabber, come in and do your best." As expected, we got destroyed by Europe, and that doesn't feel good at all.
Now, not to keep with the unfortunate nature of losing, but the London Spitfire also had a tough situation the last week. Now, with the rumored 2-2-2 position lock that is coming for Overwatch League, is that going to help, or is that going to hinder your chances for a finals repeat?
I've heard the rumors about 2-2-2. It seems pretty interesting, and I think like if that were to happen, potentially that could be really good for us. I mean, we have two world-class DPS players, and they've been playing tanks and healers all year long, and I would personally love to see them out of that role and playing DPS as they should. So should that actually be true, I would be super excited.
I think London Spitfire fans should also be excited if it is true, which we will not confirm nor deny here. But I think it's an exciting time for London Spitfire for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. That's it for Cloud Connections, presented by AT&T. Really appreciate you, Jack, and you, Valens, stopping by to drop that exclusive news and explain some of the thought process behind the formation of this new team. I am excited to see their debut now at the Blast Pro Series. We're hoping to cover CSGO a lot more in the future, so be sure to check us out to get the highlights of wins from the team.
Let's check out what's coming up. So coming up first, thanks for everything that's happened, but we do have a lot of things happening around for the Hearthstone Grandmasters. For myself and TJ, we'll be casting along for the playoff race. And ultimately, you can follow on Cloud9's Dawn and Flurry, as well as Kalento, to figure out what's going to happen there. Also happening is the Face It Pro Series with Apex Legends in July 4th and 5th. We'll also have Cloud9 Academy's team go up against CGA and Team Liquid's Academy. We also mentioned that DreamHack Valencia, July 5th through 8th, are also going to be happening with the Rocket League and the Rainbow Six Minor. But of course, the big main thing that we also want to focus on is Cloud9's LCS match. Can they break that four-way tie and advance even further in the summer split? We'll find out all that and more on this week's Cloud coverage. Thanks for everything here. We're going to head over to the Esports couch where we have a special guest with Monty and Jump.
That's right. Thank you, James Bardolph, for joining us to discuss the new CSGO roster for C9. Welcome.
Happy to be here. Thank you. It's a comfortable couch.
It is. It's a very nice couch.
Yeah.
So coming in, obviously, this is a pretty big announcement where we see Autimatic as the only player remaining on this team.
Yeah.
Also, so what are your initial impressions of the new roster players?
I'm interested. I think looking at the previous team, I don't think anyone really understood where they could go as a team, basically. But I think that you have some structure here. I think Daps has a proven record with the previous teams, Liquid and NRG and so on. So we know that he can build teams, he can put teams together. Cloud9 have got the resources to give him what he needs in that respect. So I think that's a good pickup. I think Koosta is a good pickup. I think when he made his way to Liquid previously, I think it was a little early. I don't think he had enough experience yet, but he's clearly, like at that point, I would say he was a very young player, but now he's kind of got his own identity and you can see his own play style in the game and he's got a lot more experience. So I think he's considerably stronger than he was before. And I think now that Autimatic, he's shown himself to be strong with the AWP, so now they can go to AWPs. I think Koosta can definitely do a lot for his team as well.
Yeah, I was curious about Koosta because I remember a few years ago, like 2015, 2016, when he was on the rise and there was all this hype, and he ended up being part of that Team Liquid roster with Simple when they were trying to build up. And he just never he never lived up to the expectations that it seemed like everybody had for him.
Yeah, we all blame Moses for that, for overhyping Koosta at the time. So yeah, I think it was just too early in his journey, basically. But he's definitely got the experience now. But speaking of which, we look at TenZ, who's 18 years old, and I think it's important if you're going to have a young player on a team to have the right structure around the team. If you look at Twist, for example, in Liquid, he was in a good position to grow in that team. And I think with a team led by Daps, the experience of Autimatic of having won a major, I think they're in a position where they can do that for sure. So.
And that was kind of going to be my follow-up question on this. We were actually talking to Jack after we recorded that segment, and he was talking about how TenZ's family, they're a gaming family, so his mom plays 10 hours of League of Legends a day. Her grandma, sorry. Grandma plays 10 hours of League of Legends a day, and so the question with that being, him being so young, yet having grown up in an atmosphere that is trying to cultivate the love for gaming, does this roster create that growth for him?
I think that makes a hell of a difference. If you look at Stewie's story, for example, he didn't really have support from home when he was trying to come up as a player. So I think he had a stressful environment in that respect. So I think it's fantastic if his grandma's playing League of Legends 10 hours a day. Then, I think they're all going to be getting the deliveries probably on Cloud9's time now at home. Just make sure it's healthy, guys. But no, I think that's a fantastic environment. It's basically none of the traditional blocks to living a gaming lifestyle. So I think that's absolutely, you couldn't ask for more in that respect.
So do you think TenZ as a player, is Moses overhyping him as well? What's your real take on his potential?
I haven't seen too much of TenZ myself yet, but I'm going to, and I think Moses has learned his lesson now. So, fingers crossed that's come and gone, and he's going to be the right fit for the team. Again, I think the environment is good there. They've got JamesIRL there as number 6 as well. So I think they are in a good spot where there's plenty of people for him to learn from. So I think it's going to be good for all.
So you're coming up on Blast Pro Series, which is going to be happening here in Los Angeles. That is going to be the debut of the new roster. What do you think, if you're a C9 CSGO fan, what is the realistic expectation of how well they can perform at Blast?
Okay, so I think as a CS fan, you've got to look at the short term and the long term.
Sure.
The short term is 2 to 3 months, and the long term is everything after that. Because if you add 4 players to a team at one time, let's say on the CT side, 2 players are used to playing the same position. That means that someone's going to have to go and learn another position somewhere else. They're going to have to learn the nuances of that position and the behaviors of people they're going to be coming up against. So all that stuff takes a very long time. So I think Blast is about a week away. So I wouldn't have any expectations for that. I think it's purely a learning process. It's time for the team to find synergy. I don't know how long they've been playing together behind closed doors, for example. So it's all a learning process. I don't think for Cloud9 the result is important. It's all about experience and finding synergy and a common base for communication.
But the real question outside of the caster answer that we have to give of potential, is there a chance for some wins that the fans can expect to see?
At Blast specifically?
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Why not? Daps has a strat book, right? Daps has a strat book. They've got analysts so they can counter-strat the other teams out there. So there are things they can put into place. Again, the more complicated maps you go into, the harder it's going to be, but it doesn't mean they're going to lose every match by any means.
So where do you see this team's ceiling being? Because they are building around Daps. That was the first player they picked up. So compared to their old roster, the roster that we saw most recently, do you feel like this is a vast improvement in terms of that skill ceiling?
I think it's a vast improvement because I think this has the potential to be a team. Whereas what we were looking at before was a bunch of players who had some good talent, but there were kind of like 5 players joining a server. Well, that's how it felt for us. Like they're like, hey guys, how you doing? Rather than coming in there as a unit, basically. And Daps always creates a unit. He's got years of showing examples of that. In terms of where I think their ceiling is, when you get to the very top, then you've got some really nasty aimers there on a bunch of different teams, and that has sometimes been the issue with Daps-led teams. But again, he will always put his team in the best position to win. So if there's like some shortcomings in the economy, he'll take a CZ75 and make sure his teams have the rifles and so on. So if you're looking at like the top 5 teams, then you might have those kind of issues come into question. If you look at Na'Vi, for example, then some teams have tried to like target Zeus when they're on a CT side. So these are issues that they may also come into. But I mean, I think top 15, top 10 might not be outside the realm of possibility, but it's just how long will it take to get there? And bearing in mind, this is 4 players who've been added to the team. There's no guarantee that this is going to be the 5 for Cloud9. They mean they may have to spend 4 to 6 months with this team saying, okay, we've got some issues here, we're not seeing eye to eye here, we've got to replace this guy or that guy. So it may be a year to 18 months before you see that kind of rise. But
do you think it's going to take that long, though? Because, I mean, something that Cloud9 has historically been good at, you said it yourself at the very beginning, of Jack and the rest of the team and the organization themselves being able to build an all-star squad and actually know how to put the puzzle pieces in correctly. Does that mean that now we've got the capability for them to maybe fast-track that longer than a year and a half?
Quite possibly, but the main thing is, I'd say the first question is, how long does it take you to build a map pool? You need to find your strengths and weaknesses across these different maps with a brand new team of 5 people, more or less. And that can take some time. And there's 7 maps, that's 14 halves that you need to try and find strengths in and weaknesses and decide, okay, this is going to be our insta-veto for every series and so on. So, I mean, that's a lot of data to try and gather. And they can, again, I mean, they've got a strat book, they've got Valens there, so they've got things that they can build upon if the players can find synergy. So it could be shorter than that. But I think a game like CS is so deep, you have to look at the long term. So I would say 6 months plus at a minimum.
And as a final question, James is coming back in as an additional coach to this roster.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a positive development? What do you think he brings to the team?
I think it's cool because they've got an analyst position, which, I mean, you can use that in different ways, but you could have one person focusing on counter-stratting other teams and one person focusing on the players on the team. I think it's good because he could potentially spend extra time with TenZ, for example, or anybody for any part of their game, their use of utility, how fast they are reacting to comms and so on. Anyone who's, I think people at home might not realize this, but if you're playing a scrim, for example, a lot of teams will record their communication so they can play it back at the same time as their match, and they can look at where they had issues in communicating things. Did someone see something and he didn't communicate it? Was he in a fight? Is he over-focused? Things like that. So I think somebody like JamesIRL can come in and he can help with those kind of things. So he can be more one-to-one, while obviously you've got Daps doing the whole, the team strats and so on, and you've got Valens there as well. But I think if you're, lots of little things helps, is a winning strategy, basically. So I think he can help with the little things.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for the insight. I appreciate you coming on the show, James, to explain why fans should be excited about the new C9 CSGO team. So where can people catch you these days? Over at Faceit, of course.
They can catch me on Faceit, and otherwise I'm in fields with drones, cutting my hands to pieces, and
that sounds like an interesting life experience.
I'm doing a lot of different things. So I was out at Paradise Ranch where Westworld was before everything burned down, just before I came here.
Sorry,
trying to make drones work. So
hasn't watched it yet.
Yeah, so I've got my Skynet going on. That's my current hobby. Between that and scuba diving, you'll find me somewhere on the internet.
And posting about watches and mechanical keyboards.
And all those as well.
Your other many hobbies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a rotating list.
All right. Thank you very much, James. And we finally come to the end of our countdown. Here's one for the road.
For this week's One for the Road, we decided to test our trigger fingers in honor of the CSGO announcement. A lot of pro esports players use the Korean music game Osu to practice their hand-eye coordination and reflexes. If you don't know what the game is, take a look at someone who's actually really good at it. It's like Guitar Hero for first-person shooters.
Yeah, except as we look at effect right here, it is going to be us without being able to hear the sound of the game.
All right, get your excuses out there.
And we can't use the keyboard.
And we can't use the keyboard.
We just have to click and hope to God that something works.
This is definitely in the proud tradition of the Nine's scuffed competitions.
All right. Well, the rules are simple. Each of us will get 3 tries to get our best score, and the player who has the highest score wins. And to turn up the difficulty, we turned off the music apparently because we don't have the license to play it. So Jump, if you lose, you should probably just retire. But Monty, you'll be starting us off. Right. I'll be Jack with my Surface tablet.
Oh boy. Can't hear anything with a rhythm game. Super fun. So I have to just...
There's some claps in there.
Oh, I've already died. I can't hear the music.
Oh, I love it.
All right, we got a 2760 from Monty.
Awful. Playing rhythm games with no rhythm.
It's
the greatest challenge.
All right, Monty, we're going to have you do 2 more rounds because the production felt bad.
God. Okay. 2 more rounds might take a while if I actually get past the first 10 seconds of the song.
All right. Let's go, Monty.
feel like he's played Osu once or twice.
Never with just a mouse and never with no sound, so.
They say you learn something new every day. Sometimes now you just have to learn how to do rhythm without music.
I'm making my own rhythm. I've always marched to the beat of my own drum, so I guess this is appropriate.
At least you're on brand, right?
Oh, spin! This is even super easy level.
This kind of sounds like an over-enthusiastic gym class.
Right?
Everybody's clapping. There's a beach ball going around.
Some whistles.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then the random anime girl just shows up like, you know it's like a really good beat drop because she's there, but we don't actually hear it.
We can't properly weeb out.
No, we can't.
I messed up my combo.
Wow. You're
Look
almost
at
there.
that. You did it almost at 85. This is not going to go well. Another beat drop anime girl. They're important.
How do you know this is supposed to be a beat drop?
I'm just assuming. It's only happened twice. Usually in main songs it happens like twice.
We should get a slow zoom in on Monte Cristo's intense APM.
That's right. I can't even use my
Your mouse track.
my good StarCraft hand here. I spent years developing these left-handed keyboard skills, but I can't even use them.
Do you bind anything to your right mouse buttons when you play games?
Nicely done. So we got 164830. Not bad at all. Jump, you're up next. Think you can beat it? I don't, but you're gonna go ahead and try anyways. So Jump's gonna do the same exact thing and see if you can beat Monty's score.
I'm gonna raise it up.
Ah.
Okay, this is great. It's really, you know, you're not as tall as I am. I'm never used to being too short for tables.
Oof. Ooh, not a good start here.
This mouse is so sweaty! Why has you made the mouse so sweaty?
Definitely did not make the mouse.
All right, last chance. I didn't think anyone would do worse than Monty's first round, but somehow you topped it.
He had 37% the first time.
Now we're tracking score, not percentage.
It's like probably the third time I've played Osu. And you have to go too.
Oh!
I'm just gonna walk off this set. Bye, guys!
Am I supposed to play now too?
Yeah, it's, you're
yeah,
up
you
too.
are. Well, I actually have never played it.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to wreck
trash.
Hey, is this the first time I'm gonna win one of these
It's
things?
in my Asian
I
genes.
think they have a high chair if you need to sit up taller. It's somewhere.
Oh, I'm going too early. Okay.
You get farther. Yes! What? He didn't get farther.
2-3, 2-2. He actually did better than you on the first.
Yes!
Oh!
Not last. My mantra. All right, second try.
You're not done yet.
Five, 6, 9, 6.
Still better than Jump.
Better than Jump at 3810. However, coming in 160,000 points ahead of either of you. No, that's not the one you guys want.
There it is.
164,830. So I would say a dominant Monte Cristo victory.
I'll bow down to you on my
just
Osu.
as God intended.
Well, as it turns out, the guy that actually plays the game.
Paused it.
Crazy how that works.
I guess we should just stick to casting, so I'll do what I do best and send it back over to us live before we embarrass ourselves any further. Good job.
Yeah, sorry about that pause. Our director said applause, and they thought they said pause, so they paused. So minor technical difficulty.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, Osu is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to have a rhythm over, and I have to use left click, and also I haven't played it in years.
We were describing it as if you were just in gym class and like observing one of the games, and it's just like there's a beach ball and then there's just clapping everywhere.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick to my esports that need no mechanical skill whatsoever.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. So back to League of Legends for you then.
No, excuse me, sir. It's team fight tactics, thank you very much.
I heard that there might be a popular Brazilian League of Legends player named Jukes on the show next week. So chat normally would be pretty hyped on this. Not sure if there are any Juke fans that are watching today, but it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, and that's it for us on the Nines. Presented by AT&T. Make sure to tune in next week at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on C9's Twitch channel. We are going to have, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, LCS Academy team member Jukes on the show. Follow Cloud9 on all socials for all your C9 updates and use hashtag the Nines to let us know if you like the show. Don't need to hear if you don't like it. But you can tell Frodan you don't like him on Twitter. All right. Where can they find you? Tell you how much they appreciate Asian Ninja.
Twitter.com/Frodan. I will never have the moves or the jukes to match Bill Jump Carter.
There has been 3 gifts in my entire professional career that have been made and been on Twitter, and all 3 of them have been stupid dancing gifts.
I appreciate
This is number 4.
You do look like a dancing farmer.
You know,
to bring it full circle.
Farming Simulator's ultimate reward.
That's right. Denim shirt jump.
Oh, it's great.
All right.
Yep.
I'm Monte Cristo. Of course, you can tell me how much you hate me at Monte Cristo. That's been our show. See you next week. Good night.